Hi, welcome back to Roaming with Restless Women. Today, I have a trauma-informed coach who said to me right before we started, I've lived through every trauma you can imagine, and it sounds like she did. So she's here to help us. Tori Janae is a trauma-informed coach, intuitive healer, and a former HR leader with multiple psychology degrees and decades of experience helping women transform from the inside out. Her work blends modern psychology, energy work, and spiritual practices to help women heal from heartbreak, loss, trauma, and then step deeper into confidence, emotional freedom, and aligned relationships, along with a better life. After growing up in a home marked by addiction and instability, and later enduring the losses of her sister, her parents, grandmother, and an 18-year marriage, Tori knows what it means to rebuild a life with soul. Her signature approach integrates healing mind, body, and soul to help women stop repeating the past and start creating what they truly desire. Tori's story and work offer grounded, heart-led wisdom for anyone navigating major life transitions. Tori, I'm so excited to have you on the show. You're going to have a lot to share, I'm sure.
I sure hope so. That's the hope.
Oh man. Well, I mean, your bio says quite a bit about your past as far as the trauma that you've endured. Tell me a little bit about how you molded that into going into psychology.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people actually go into the helping fields. We have heavy histories, and so I truly believe like your greatest pain can be your greatest purpose if you decide to
Mm,
transform it. Our mess is always our message, and we really, I left home at 17. My mom and my stepdad both struggled with major addiction. My real father was a Vietnam veteran who had major alcoholism and PTSD. My older
mm.
siblings all struggled with addiction. So I was actually the first person in my family to break that. I'm a fourth generation. I would have been the fourth generation of addict. So my grandmother, my mother, and my older sister all had major addiction issues. So I grew up with a lot of
Wow.
instability, trauma. Like my maternal grandmother actually overdosed when my mom was 15. And so it was just like this consistent pattern that I decided to break. And so how I got into this was I kind of left home. I put myself through school. I never took out a single loan for college. I worked full time, helped take care of my little brother, and luckily we've broken the pattern with him as well. And the more I learned, the more I recognized like I've got to make radically different choices to change my fate, or I'm going to end up the exact same way. And so from the time I was 18 on, I literally became completely sober. So everything I've gone through in my life, like, death, divorce, trauma, I've done it without a single glass of wine to get me through.
Oh my
So I
goodness.
I really delved into every practice and I looked over every rock on the planet to find what healing meant. And so obviously psychology was very interesting to me initially because I wanted to learn what happened to my mom, what happened to me, and then that
Yeah.
translated into how do I heal myself? Because that is what we must do if we ever want to help others. We don't have any business. It's called the wounded healer from Jungian psychology. We must heal ourselves first before we start attempting to help others. So I set out on that
Yeah.
path while I was in HR healing myself so that I could eventually come to this place of being ready to help others heal.
So, was there a seminal incident that caused you to make this choice? Or was it just a compounding of all the years of dealing with it in your home?
Yeah, it's like I had on some level this knowledge that if I didn't get out, like I was never going to. And so I think it was two things. One, I always had this in my mind that somehow I was going to be different. I didn't know how, but I knew I had to be. And the other part of it was I had a younger brother who's 7 years younger, and I just adored
Mm,
him from the minute he was born. And I didn't want, I think there was a protective part of me of him that was also like, I've got to make it, and I've got to make it different for him.
wow. So when you moved out, did he move out with you or you just maintained relationship with him?
Luckily, our mom was found unfit by the courts, so he went to live with grandma. But grandma was on a fixed income, and all these things.
Yeah.
So I would financially help as much as I could.
Yeah. Because when you said, I was taking care of my little brother, my thought went to, man, if I was 17 and trying to put myself through school, that's a heavy burden to lay on yourself.
Yeah, it
That's
was,
a
but it
lot.
definitely, I always say pressure creates diamonds, though.
That's
Somehow that
true.
pressure, I mean, like when I tried to get a loan when I was like 18 for school, I already made too much money. I
Oh
was
my
already like, I think you could
gosh.
only make 14,000. This is obviously a long time ago, but at the time you
Yeah.
had to make 14,000 or less, and I was already making like 30 because I had to support myself full time, and I had to buy my brother's school clothes and just the extras that grandma couldn't afford. So yeah, it was just like, okay,
Wow.
well, I've got to make it, and I still have that in me today. That's what helped me build my business. Is like, if I need to make the money, I will always figure out a way. Maybe scrappy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know what? There's a thread that I hear a lot in women who've been through early trauma, it's particularly in their teens. My dad left when I was 16. Actually, I threw him out because he
Oh,
kept
good for you.
going and coming back and going and coming back. And I was dealing with my mother, breaking down, and my younger sister. So I was in a kind of a caretaker mode as well. And
Absolutely.
it does kind of create this fierce, independent, if I want it, I can make it happen kind of attitude. I put myself through school as well, so I know exactly where you're coming from in
Wonderful.
that regard. You just scrappy's a good word for it, but it's also um, there's no other choice almost, right?
True.
I don't have a sugar daddy.
Yeah.
It's relative. There's no choice.
Yeah. I don't even have a daddy.
Yeah, well, there you go. There you
Yeah.
go. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
So,
the
yeah.
positive, yeah, the positive can be like this kind of I know I can do it myself and that confidence that I can get through things. The negative, obviously, that I know we probably both work with women is what we call hyper independence, where I can never
Yeah.
ask for help. I can never rely on
Oh, yeah.
anyone. I can't trust anyone. So that's where it's a slippery, how do I say this? All of our greatest strengths can be a slippery slope.
And the greatest weakness, you're exactly right. You're exactly right. So tell
And I've
me,
done all those things too.
yeah, me too, I have to say. Um, so tell me about where you are now and the practice that you have.
Yeah, so I've been very blessed. I started my practice in 2012, and it I left my six-figure cushy corporate job, and I thought, if you build it, they will come. That did not happen. I
Yeah.
jumped out of the plane and I hit the ground hard. So I went from making six figures to like, gosh, I want to say like 30K my first year, which was not good because I had a mortgage and a car payment, all those things. So
Yeah.
I always tell people the truth. Like I blew up my credit cards. I spent half my 401k. I did a lot to build myself back up from that. So it was not a cute process. And I love people to know that for sure. It took me a couple years to really get things going. But when I did, just one thing led to another. And I worked with people in companies and I've really become more of like a life strategist. So I work with a lot of leaders and entrepreneurs and creatives in Hollywood that either run companies and I kind of help them throughout everything. I do the marriage therapy to the helping their client. I'm sorry, like their employees. Sometimes I'll come like I have a company where I work with her. I work with her partners, and I come in once a month to coach their employees on their issues as well. So I'm very lucky in that way.
Mm.
But at this point, I am, if you would have told me growing up in a bad neighborhood with two addict parents that one day I would live in Beverly Hills, California, have a six-figure practice, and be working internationally. I have clients in London, I have clients in Dubai. I'm going to London next week to teach.
Nice. Yeah.
So, yeah, I built this thing that I never would have thought was possible, but that's what happens when we do the inner work. And that's what I love to tell people is the more especially women, the more we invest in ourselves, the more we heal those core wounds and patterns and that self-doubt and that imposter syndrome and all the stuff that comes up for us, the more we step into who we truly are and we give our gifts and we own our brilliance.
So from 2012 to now, What have been some of the biggest trends or changes that you've seen in the kinds of issues people bring to you?
Yeah, I think what's amazing is that when I started in 2012, no one had a clue what a coach was. And
Right.
I was, you know, I did go to school for like, trained traditionally in psychology, but when I looked at the licensing and the limitations and the way that
Yeah.
they were training me to do that, I just didn't. I believe in therapy. I love therapy. I think everyone should have some, but it wasn't where my gifts were. So what I love is that now people understand what coaching is. The therapeutic system is overwhelmed. There isn't enough therapists. Like we know this in the
Yeah.
United States, there's not enough trained ones to handle the amount. And I think the trends have been going from just kind of like mindset work, like, oh, I've got to think more positive and take more
Oh,
action and
yeah.
I'm lazy, to now we're starting to understand how chronic stress, past issues, trauma, the definition has changed. And people are starting to understand that like things like the body and energy work also matter. And I think that's a beautiful thing that we're seeing, that like meditation, mindfulness, healing the body, like they're all connected. Like a lot of people don't understand how much chronic stress and trauma, and a lot of people don't understand what trauma is. They think if they, I obviously have a very clear trauma history, but even someone at a very critical parent and an absent father has still experienced emotional trauma.
Oh, yeah.
So that changes the nervous system, it changes the gut, changes how our hormones and our cortisol work with each other. So when I work with people, I look at it very holistically. I always look at
Hmm.
mind, body, soul. I'm like, what are your labs? What are your hormones? Especially when I'm working with that 40 plus group.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, it's like if our progesterone's low, we're gonna have tons of anxiety. There's no stopping it. So it's like, let's get you on some micronized progesterone. So I look at it that way, and then I look at what are the core mental, physical patterns that are happening, and then like, the soul. Like, do you feel like you're connected to people? Do you feel like you have purpose? Do you feel like you're aligned with who you are and what you're doing?
Yeah. What are some of the questions or what are some of the interventions that you provide to people when they say, I just don't know why I'm here? I
Yeah.
don't know what my purpose is. I think a lot of people think, and I think this is incredibly false, but I think it's part of our culture to think everybody has to have this big lightning purpose, this big, the
Yes.
lightning bolt hits, and now I know why I'm here, and la, angels sing, and whatever. And really, your purpose can change minute by minute depending on the interactions you're having, in my opinion, with everyone
Mhm.
around you. Your purpose can be multiple things.
Yes.
How do you encourage people who feel like that they don't have a purpose or haven't
Yeah,
found it?
I have studied, like I said, almost every spirituality on the planet, just because I was
Yeah.
looking for the golden thread.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
believe the golden thread of truth is that our purpose is to evolve. Our purpose is to grow. That is the whole reason we're on this earth school. The soul is here to grow. So as long as you're growing in some way, you're growing, you're learning, and you're living your purpose as a human. Now,
Yeah.
some souls, I think, come in with their own type of purpose. And I agree with you 1,000%. I was the same. I thought that the piano of purpose was going to fall out of the sky and hit me on the
Oh,
head.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
I almost became a doctor. I almost became a lawyer. I was so confused about what I was here to do. But the only thing I could figure out was, okay, I know I want to help people. I don't know how yet. And so I went on that path of discovery,
Hmm.
of figuring out, how do I want to help people? What lights me up? Where's my curiosity? So I always tell people, don't worry about like having this one finite purpose. And I think we also have this secondary thing where it has to be like building orphanages in Somalia. Like it's this
Oh,
very specific,
yeah.
like
Or it has to
philanthropic. It's
be, something that will make you famous or,
Yeah, like my grandmother. I think of my grandmother. Like her purpose was taking care of children. Like she
Yeah.
was so good at it. She took care of her children. She had four children of her own. She took care of all of her grandchildren. It's like she just like she was like a baby whisperer. It was like that was
Oh,
her purpose.
yeah.
She never got paid for it necessarily, but that's so I always share that. Like, and you're right, your purpose changes. Like your purpose may be to raise your children for 10 years, and then you take that knowledge and that wisdom and you put it into something else. As long as you're making a contribution to the world, it's your purpose. But I always say follow what lights you up, what gives you energy, and what you're curious about.
Yeah, the curiosity is really important in maintaining growth over your
Hmm.
whole life, essentially. As soon as you quit being curious, you start to die, I think.
Yep.
Because
You're
that
either
means you're
growing or
full up
dying.
and you're done. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, and we have every decade and every like time we gain more wisdom, we have more to give. And
Mm-hmm.
and it changes. Like my coaching practice has changed in a million ways. And what I offer has changed because I've changed. I've grown. When I left
Yeah.
HR and I started this, I was doing more corporate and like career coaching. That made perfect sense because it was so easy for me. Now
Mm-hmm.
I'm literally touching on like core psychological, mental, emotional, physical patterns to change everything in someone's life because that's where I am at this point. I'm like, I see exactly what's blocking someone, how to heal,
Mm-hmm.
or how to help them take that path. It's always up to them. I'm not healing people. They're healing themselves with the guidance. And yeah, that took me, gosh, 14 years. And like last year, I saw 348 unique individuals, my report said.
Wow.
So that's just in 1 year, I touched that many people. So, and that was, in the year before that, I spoke to 180, a group. I did a weekend with that. So it's like, I've learned so much by helping so many different people. And the other thing I love to share is that there is no one size fits all. So
Oh
just know that
yeah.
for yourself. Yeah,
Yeah.
that like a good person that you're working with will always listen to you. And, I say, we're experimenting. We're going to try this. We're going to look at this and see how it works.
Mm-hmm. So what do you have people that come to you reluctantly? Like for
I'm luck.
instance,
I
I
don't
think
anymore, but I have.
yeah, yeah,
And I'll tell you the funny thing that I get is sometimes I
yeah.
will get a referral from a friend or a family member. Like I'll never forget a couple of years ago, I had this business owner, very handsome man. He owns all these restaurants in LA. And he was like, my friend, she said I had to see you. He didn't even know what I did. So he was just like she said I had to see you and I trust her and I need help.
Wow.
And what's amazing is he built out everything different. We did a lot of work, but that was like the last person I could think of who came to me like, no clue why I'm here. But I think
Yeah.
I always remind people like psychologically, we're all resistant to change. So,
Yeah.
if, as listeners, if you feel that way, that's normal. The ego wants to keep you the same because it's safe. Like that's why New Year's
Yes.
resolutions don't work. It's not because we're lazy or broken or anything's wrong with us. It's because what is known is survivable, it is safe, and even positive change feels threatening to the nervous system, especially when it's not calm and regulated and you've had to stay in survival mode or safety mode, which 99% of us are. It's really expensive cost of living. There's just so much happening in
Yeah.
the post-COVID world that puts us in a more difficult position.
Right. Well, what kinds of themes have you experienced as far as struggles, traumas, and the state of people now versus pre-COVID? What are some of the
Gosh,
things you're seeing that are worse or
I've
better?
I've seen a lot more isolation post COVID. People are, and this is showing up in the research too, because I looked it up just because I was curious. I think
Mm-hmm.
people are dating less intentionally. They're a little more afraid out there, and this is an all ring because actually funny thing too is the 40 plus group is the highest dating group right now out on the singles market.
I'm
So I'm not talking about the
sure.
20s.
Yeah.
I'm talking about us, like, because I was one of those too. So I totally get it. But yeah, I see more isolation, more anxiety, less, more focused on like making money, creating security, and kind of
Mm-hmm.
we're just trying to almost like make it. And this is not, I don't work with like people who are struggling day to day. I work with people who typically are, doing pretty good, but it's like in LA just to live like a normal, like to be a normal human, having a single apartment and feed yourself, you've got to make 100,000 a year.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
a lot of money.
Mm-hmm. especially for
So
someone just coming out of school or without a without a college education or some of the other
yeah,
blockages.
and those of you have like our listeners who have children and like I'm really seeing in the 20 somethings that it's even worse for them because they don't have a lot of the emotional relational skills. A lot of them can't even afford to go date, to go hang out with their friends because
Oh,
unless they're
yeah.
living at home. So I
Yeah.
we're so hardwired for human connection, and I don't think we're getting enough of it. And so then we're turning to technology, and that is making us more unwell. And so I hope as AI really comes in strong, like we recognize that the human connection is going to be the thing that saves us. It's necessary for our nervous system, for our mental health, for our success.
Right, exactly. So do you have people coming to you now who, and I've asked this of several other guests that I've had who are in the same space as you, given the environment that we're living in right now, just in the last 3 or 4 years, or since COVID, the turmoil. It just seems like I've had so many people come to me and say, I can't even watch the news.
Oh
It
yeah, I
just,
actually tell people not to.
yeah. Um, it- and it's almost like people get paralyzed to some degree because they don't
Yeah,
know
there's
what the
so
right move is because the rules have
yeah,
changed all the way around.
and it feels like the
Um,
world is on fire and you're just watching it and there's nothing you can do about it.
Right, because everything is so big. The problems are
It is.
so big. And I think part of that is they were always big, but now we see them. Now we can learn
Yes,
about
it's so
them
true.
in a second or two on Google or whatever. So what kinds of struggles are people coming to you about just the general um, world situation that we're in right now?
I think like being afraid of saying the wrong thing, having
Mm,
opinions. No one can have a good conversation. Families are getting
yeah,
ruined over how they saw things, whether it be political or medical or COVID itself. I feel very
yeah.
neutral and very lucky that I can always see both sides, and I'm independent on all things. I'm Switzerland just because like I feel more. I'm impassioned about certain things like the environment and taking care of people. I always say I'm a humanitarian first. I don't care about any of the rest.
Yes.
How does it
Yes.
affect people? How does it affect the world? That's all that I care about. So I see that struggle. I also see like you're talking about like the feeling like there's so much negative stuff happening in the world. How could I be
Yeah.
happy? How could I focus on myself? Like, is that not selfish or bad?
Yeah.
And
Some
so I
people,
usually,
yeah.
yeah, I have my clients, I say, like, you can read the news, but please don't watch it. It's like, we know this psychologically. A lot of people don't understand. They actually hire psychologists to study what will get people to watch more. So
Yeah.
they literally have a study group of people in a room with dials, and they'll find that sweet spot of getting you just stressed enough to where you won't turn it off. And now I want everybody who's watching this, watch this for real. You're going to watch the news. Then you're going to see a food commercial for bad food that needs marketing. Then you're going to see the drug that you need to heal you because you're eating that food. They do that on purpose. I get you in a
Yes.
stressed out state. Now you're in enough fight or flight to where your cortisol is spiking. Now Dairy Queen sounds delicious.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't have to worry about it because I'm going to take a trizepatide.
Yeah. There you go.
It's all marketing and they're hijacking your biological drives for money. So don't watch that.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of that everywhere. I mean, I can't
Everywhere.
even scroll through Instagram without getting triggered, by some ad that tells me I need better hair growth or
Absolutely.
or I'm
Especially
getting
as, oh my
old.
God. I was going to say,
I
as
have
women,
dark
there's,
spots.
yes, you better
It's
not
like,
have
I don't
melasma.
care.
You better not gain 5 pounds. I mean, I get it.
Oh
I live in LA.
gosh.
Yeah, we're not allowed to age here. But it's like,
Believe me, I know. And you do become
yeah,
invisible after 60, I can tell you. You really do.
yeah, I think everybody, or, we all, oh, it's crazy for women. It's like the
It
expectations are
is.
through the roof. And
Yeah.
so I feel like getting us, like what I jokingly call the matrix, getting us out of the matrix helps us
Yeah.
actually tune into ourselves, into
What
our own.
I You're exactly right. And what I find is that when I do connect with other women, with other people in my life that, love me, I love them, or we live in a condo, so I have a very small little backyard, but it backs up against a golf course. What I
Mm,
find is when I need to calm down, if I go outside and I'm barefoot, I'm
mhm.
100% better. And it's
Yep,
just
grounding.
because the grounding, you're exactly right. And people don't believe that that's real. It's very real
It's
because
very
I don't
real.
remember a time when I was little past May the 1st in a year that I wasn't barefoot all summer. Barefoot outside and just it, those were the best feeling days, I think, of my whole life.
Yeah, I
And I
mean,
think
people
part of
can
it
Google it.
was,
It's very well
yeah,
researched.
yeah. And
It's called
so
the practice is actually called earthing, and
earthing,
a
yeah.
lot of like more advanced cancer doctors actually recommend this because our body needs to be connected to the earth to heal and to heal its circadian rhythm. But there's so many good things like that that are so simple. Like when it comes to completing the stress response, take a 15-minute walk. Call someone
Yes.
who cares about you. Like, and we know this from research. Taking a quick walk can reduce your cortisol by 30%. And cortisol messes up your hormones. It creates belly fat. It makes your face puffy. It makes us age faster. We want to get that stuff down. And so,
Yeah.
taking deep breaths, getting out on the earth, getting outside, calling a friend, having a lunch with someone, like connecting with people. This all helps. So we have to I like to say, like, what's one thing you can do a day that will help you calm down, come back to yourself, recenter?
Yeah. That's why I intentionally, I work remote, obviously, and I
Hmm.
intentionally take lunch out of my office, most of the time outside, most of the time walking my dog.
Yeah, that's another one.
It's
Pets are
just,
huge.
oh, pets. Don't get me started. My little baby, he loves me. I love him. But anyway,
No, it's
he helps
true.
with my stress level big time,
They do.
big
They
time.
regulate our
Yeah.
nervous system hugely. Cats and dogs, depending on your personality. But especially
Yep.
if like that dog, man, they make you get up, you walk them. They love you unconditionally. No one's happier to see you on the planet.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Well, this has been wonderful so far. So I want to ask you to tell people how they can get a hold of you or how they can connect with you.
Yeah, so my website is torijanae.com, TORIJENAE.com. I also have a freebie on there, like a free downloadable workbook that's pretty long. It's like 30 pages, but it's like the core psychological wounds that are kind of running your life. So you can learn about that. I have how it shows up, how you can start healing it.
Oh,
And
that's
then,
wonderful.
yeah, so that's a good, I put a lot of my years of work into that. And then I also have Instagram, so at tori.janae.
Wonderful. I'll put that in the show notes, folks. Make sure you go out there and check out her workbook. That sounds wonderful. Okay, so Tori, the end of every episode, I ask three questions. So I'm going to start with the first one. If you could close your eyes just for a moment
Hmm.
and describe to me what you see in your mind's eye when I say wise woman.
Oh, she's wearing all white and she has long, white, beautiful flowing hair. And she is probably in her late 80s.
Yeah. What's she doing?
Oh, she's actually standing there just being.
I love it. You know how many people, you can open your eyes, you know how many
Yeah.
people say when I ask the question, and I don't often ask, what is she doing? But when I do, a lot of people just say she's present. She's just there. She's just being, you know?
Yeah, because
And I
the
think
feminine,
that's it. That's
that's the
it.
feminine in its power.
When we fully realize our power, absolutely. Okay, the second question is, where do you like to roam?
Oh, definitely a world traveler. I love to roam everywhere. I learned so much traveling.
Hmm.
I can get very much in a routine in life. And so one of the ways I grow and force myself to grow is to go places I've never been. So like next week I'll
Mm,
leave for London and then we're going to go from London to Nice. I go to Monte Carlo. I'm going to try to see as much as we can on the south of France, come back through Paris, and then to New York and just get out of my bubble and put myself in uncomfortable situations.
Love it. I love it. That's Travel is so important, even if it's out of state or even if it's,
Yeah,
even
weekend
within your
trip.
state. Yeah, a micro, get yourself out of your home environment and
Yes, so
just
much change
experience
can
something
happen.
new. Absolutely. And my final question is, what makes you restless, but in a good way?
Oh, I think my work serving people, always worrying like I'm not doing enough. Like I'm not hitting enough people or I'm not, there's so many things you can do. I think that's where I get restless. It's like,
Yeah,
oh, I should, it's like there's so many things from writing books to doing courses to
yeah,
speaking. It's like, oh, like how, it's just like finding that balance between not burning myself and my gifts out, but serving at the right level.
yeah. I think a lot of us feel that way. What is that balance? Because women don't have just one plate in the air ever.
Mm-mm.
In their whole lives. That's for sure.
Yes.
So thank you so much for being on this episode.
Oh,
You've
thank you
got
so much for having me.
a lot of great tips and folks, again, go look at that workbook. It sounds wonderful. I'm going to go get one. Oh, and we really, really appreciate it, Tori. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Julie Noonan here. Thank you so much for listening to Roaming with Restless Women. If you're a successful senior woman leader who would like to be on this program, please visit podcast.intuitivewisdomcoach.com. If you enjoyed this interview, please share this episode on social media and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. Your thumbs ups and reviews go a long way.